Wednesday, and it's time for
Craig and Ryland's Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to another review show right here on Magic TV. Got good news and bad news for you this week. The good news is we've got 5 products that we're looking at this week. 5 products. The bad news is only how many? Only 2 of them are actually performing.
I've got the 2.
We cannot perform. I'm not performing anything this week. He's performing 2 tricks. I'm performing Zip. For various different reasons involving quality control of props along with other mitigating factors, which we will get into. And we're going to start off by looking at a trick that is just truly terrible in every way. Let's have a look at that right now. Okay, so first of all, we have by Abstract Effects Swarm. Swarm by Abstract Effects doesn't actually have a creator's name on there. Just says Abstract Effects Swarm. It doesn't say anything. And this is kind of interesting, and I spoke about this.
You've cut it off.
Oh, right,
it says
okay.
design, actually.
Okay.
Why did
No, it doesn't matter. What we have here is, myself and Lloyd spoke about this on the podcast recently. The other brothers, who obviously founded Abstract Effects, and Abstract Effects themselves, have been away for a while. We haven't seen them recently. They haven't brought anything new out recently. And then they put a cryptic post on their Facebook page a few months ago saying, we're back. We've regrouped and we're back bigger than ever before. Unfortunately, they didn't release anything. And their first trick back after an extended absence is Swarm. And now I'm going to review it. Now, this is one of the tricks that we cannot perform. And the reason is the prop broke within 5 minutes of me playing around with it. And so then I got another one, and that one broke within 10 minutes of me playing around with it. And although
You got 3, actually.
No, I only got 2.
No, you got 3.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you got 3.
No, I only got 2. But no, definitely just 2. But yeah, I could probably figure out how to fix it, but I really cannot be bothered. We don't normally do this. We don't normally play a trailer for a trick in the review show. We go straight into the review, we perform it. I need you guys to look at the trailer for this. If you haven't seen it, I need you guys to look at the trailer for this, because the trailer, like, the gimmick on the trailer, it kind of looks obvious. You can see a big crease in the card. If you're going to sell a trick, and you're going to sell a trick that's got a particular method, like a flap, like this is, I think you need to at least make the card look as unflappy as possible. So I'm going to play the trailer for you so you can see exactly how bad this looks like on the trailer, but then we're going to talk about what it looks like in real life. As I say, I can't perform it because it broke, but we can talk about what you get and so on and so forth. So let's have a look at the trailer first of all.
Abstract Effects presents Abstract Effects. It's in the
So
game.
that's the trailer. What is it? Well, basically, it is a color-changing card. Yes, you can use this thing to do other things. You can use this thing to produce a coin or produce a ring. But in essence, you have here a color-changing card. Now, there are a million color-changing cards out there that are actually quite good. Modern Times by Henry Evans is a perfect example. The one selling point that this has going for it is that you can apparently do it with a signed card. So you can have a red deck, for example. You can have a card taken from the red deck and taken from the red deck, forced. Have it signed, take it back, turn it over, show it's got a red back, visibly turn it blue, and then hand it out, and the signed card has now turned blue. However, in order to do that, there is so much faffing around that you have to do. So first of all, you need a gimmick that's included in the deck. And the gimmick isn't like, you know, like sometimes you use a gimmick and it's a playing card. Like Card Through Sharpie is a perfect example. You've just got the gimmick sitting on top of the deck and it's there when you need it, and when you don't want it, you don't have to. This is a gimmick that you'd have to hold in position. on the face of the deck, so you'd have to like maybe load it or something like that. Then you're going to have to do some sort of force in order to have the card picked and signed, and then you're going to have to load it into the gimmick. And then this is the problem: you're going to have to open the gimmick up. Now this uses, obviously it's fairly obvious that this is a flap type system, so it uses invisible elastic thread, which broke twice on me. As I say, 2 of these broke almost instantaneously, and one of the reasons is it's really tight. It wants to shut immediately. The guy on the tutorial, when he was explaining it, it was constantly shutting on him. It's because it's so tight, there's a lot of pressure on there, and obviously it's going to snap, right? But the whole idea is you've got to open it up, but it looks so obvious when you're opening it up, and they don't really give you some advice on how to open it up. But then once you've opened it, you've got to turn this thing face down. You've got to keep it separate from the deck. So now you're holding an open gimmick and you're holding their card. And they don't really give you any advice on how to do this either. And then they talk about, to do the change, there's one of 2 ways you can do it. And the first way is to throw it on the table. And I think they call it like an unassisted change. Now, the problem with throwing it on the table is it never looks good. Even when they do it on the tutorial, it doesn't look great. And they actually say on the tutorial, I would hold it in your hand and do an assisted change, which is where you hold it in your hand and you do this, and the flap closes. And they say the reason for that is because that way you can use your fingers to align the gimmick, so that if it misaligns, which it pretty much does every single time, you can align it in your hand. So in essence, the way that they're suggesting using this, you don't need a gimmick. Like, you just don't need a gimmick. You don't need a gimmick at all. There's a million ways that you can actually do this.
Yeah.
Like with a snap change, with an Erdnase change, with a simple double lift. Like, you could very, very simply, from a spectator's point of view, you could have a red card second from top in the deck. You could show, or blue card, because this turns blue. So you can have a blue card second from top in the deck. You can bring a deck of cards out, do a riffle force, which you have to force anyway for Swarm. Do a double turnover, have them sign the face of the cards, signing the odd back card, the stranger card. Turn the card face down, do a KM move, put it into their hand, and then the change of the card happens in the spectator's hands. No gimmicks. You're left with a regular deck of cards that they can examine. You're not having to load a card into a gimmick. You're not having to open the gimmick up, which looks really dodgy. I love the fact that during the tutorial, the guy that's doing the tutorial says, now there's a few angle issues here, and I know that we're going to get some hate because this is a bit angle sensitive. And I'm thinking, well, why haven't you addressed this there? If you're saying on the tutorial, I know you're going to have some hate because this is angle sensitive, then maybe address that issue before you bring it to market. But in all honesty with you, I don't think anybody's going to talk about how this is angle sensitive, because there's a million other things they can talk about. They can talk about how the gimmick looks like a piece of crap and doesn't work at all, and you can tell from a mile away exactly what's going on. I think that people are going to be talking about how the thing breaks very, very easily. I think people will be talking about how there's no originality here and it doesn't add anything to a colour changing card plot. I think people are going to be talking about how it just doesn't look good at all, and how there's not really any instruction on how to open up the card. They're going to talk about how you've got tons of stuff on the trailer of you throwing a card on the table, but then when you actually do it in the tutorial, you suggest that you don't do that and instead you hold it in your hand to adjust the problems that you're going to have by throwing it on the table. They're going to talk about all of this stuff. The angles is just one thing of a million issues that you've got with this. And I know that I'm talking over you, and I know that you're standing there. I know you're standing there and you're thinking, my God, my dad doesn't shut up. But the reason is, I'm just sick to death of tricks like this.
You're probably going to do the next one. If it's the
Maybe. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of tricks like this. You would have thought that Abstract Effects had learnt from their previous mistakes, of which they've had many. I can't remember the last good abstract... Actually, I can remember the last good Abstract Effects trick. The last good Abstract Effects trick was Random Happenings by Ryan Schultz. That was really good. I think that's probably the only one that I can remember. But most of the Abstract Effects tricks are terrible. And this is a perfect example of a trick that is diabolically awful. It looked terrible on the trailer, but I thought I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Having now seen it in person, it's terrible. It breaks in 5 minutes. It doesn't look very good. It doesn't add anything to the millions of flat cards that are out there. It doesn't really add anything to the genre. It doesn't, other than the fact that it's just another flat card for the sake of it, and you don't even need it. It's not like they've got some groundbreaking trick that you kind of think, well, okay, the effect is amazing, it's unique. I kind of understand why we're using a flat, because I can now achieve something that I've never been able to do before. No, you could do this with Nerd Nays Change, with a double lift. You could do this with a glide. There are a million ways of doing this trick. And it won't be as faffy around. When you use a gaff, a lot of the time it's to clean something up. This makes it more dirty. If you talk about what I mentioned earlier, which is basically just a double lift, right? And a KM move. With this, you're having to load it into the gimmick, you're having to open up the gimmick, you're having to keep it aligned, you're having to flip it over, keeping it aligned, you're having to drop it on the table, hoping to God that it's going to stay squared up, or you're going to do it in your hand, in which case, why aren't you doing just a snap change? Like, there's a million different ways of doing this. The gimmick falls apart in 0.2 seconds. This is offensive. It's terrible. It's awful. It's lazy production, and it's everything bad about Magic. This is the perfect. We haven't thrown anything in the bin recently, have we? Go get the bin. Go get the bin. Go get the bin. Have we got the bin? Is the bin down here?
I see it.
Is the bin full?
Not completely.
Have we got this? Goes in the bin. This goes in the bin.
Actually, I'll use it for thing. That one.
Look, just take it and just. Oh, it's in the. There you go. It goes in the bin. That's where it belongs, in the bin. Because frankly, this is not something that you should be buying. This is not something that should have been brought to market. This is absolutely terrible.
Old.
So
Look how old it is.
Okay, we'll put it back over there. So there you go. It gets, from me, it gets minus 100%. What does it get from you, Ryland?
Minus 1,000%.
Minus 1,000% from Ryland, minus 100% from me. Buyer beware. Abstract effects are up to their old tricks again. It's highly not recommended. Let's move on to the next trick.
And the next trick is Fast by Dorian Johnson.
Absolutely, Fast. And he of the green beard. He of the green... did you drop that on the floor? There you go. He of the green beard. Dorian Johnson. We reviewed his cups trick a little while ago.
Yes.
We really liked that, didn't we? This was one of the sleeper hits of the Magic Convention, the Blackpool Magic Convention. He brought this out through Mind Effects, Michael Murray's company. You know, if Michael Murray puts his name to something, it's going to be good. And Fast is not really a trick. It's a collection of tricks. There are 5 tricks on the Fast project, and it is a project, and it's a project on a principle that I've actually explored myself. This is something that I've spent a lot of time working on, so I can appreciate the cleverness and the ingenuity behind what Daniel's actually bringing to market here. Now, as I said, there's 5 different routines, and we can go into...
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah, shush. There's 5 different routines that Daniel talks about, and we're going to get Ryland to perform Berg Fast, which is kind of the main routine on the project, which is very, very clean, any card at any number. So let's have a look at that, and then once we've done that, we'll talk about what we think.
Okay, Daddy, I have a pack of cards here.
Okay.
A red pack.
Yes.
Okay, now they're all there and all different.
Mm-hmm. I see this.
All
yes.
there, all different, all red backed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
Apparently you don't know how to spread a deck of cards, but yes, they are all there.
Okay?
That was perfect, was it?
Okay. Now, you know you've got the suits, you've got the cards, you've got the suits and the values.
Yeah.
I want you to pick a suit, reds or blacks.
Reds.
Okay, hearts or diamonds?
Hearts.
Okay, so we've got the hearts here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I'm going to put the deck down and I'm not even going to touch it at all. Not going to touch it at all. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to do everything.
Okay.
Now, I want you to think of a value. So you've got ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, king, queen.
A value.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, now I want you to double your number. Now,
Why?
Because we're going to make a random number as a position in the deck.
Okay.
So we're going to double your number, and then we're going to double
By
it.
number, you mean the value of the card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got it, now double it.
Okay, I've doubled it, yeah.
Now double it again.
Double it again?
Now that's less than 52, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yes.
52 or less.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 52, we just turn the deck over.
It is less than 52, yes.
Okay. Now, I haven't touched the cards at all.
No?
What was that number?
28.
28. Now, can you deal those cards
Face up or face down?
face down into the 28th position?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Stop there.
Okay.
Now this card, no one could have known what that card is.
No, nobody.
In any way, shape or form.
No, not at all.
Yeah? Nobody can know what that is.
No.
What if I told you, well, I want you to name what the value was.
Well, it was it was 7 of hearts.
7 of hearts. Now I haven't touched that card, except from taking it off.
No?
You've dealt the card, you've done everything. I haven't touched it
No.
since you named anything.
Correct.
Now I want you to turn that card over.
Boom! 7 of hearts. Very good. Well done, man.
Thank you.
So there you go. That was a performance of Bergfast. He did a great job there, right? I mean, how good is that as an any card at any number?
That's really good.
Like, think about it. Think about it. The deck's put down in front of the spectator.
You do nothing.
You do nothing. They they think of a card. They think of a number. They
Well,
deal.
they don't think of the number, they double it.
Yeah, but
Which is even more random.
It is. It is even more random than naming a number. I know there's going to be people watching this that are going to go, "Oh, it'd be better than having. It'd be better if they named a number." And maybe you're right, but I think you can sell that really well. It's kind of like, look, I don't know what your card is, so let's use that value to create a completely random number. Do me a favor, double that number. Now double it again. There's no way. You know what I mean? It feels really fair. And with no moves, they deal down to the card. And when they do, that's the card they were thinking of. And they don't even have to say it. Really, really strong. And to be honest, like I said, I've worked on this principle before. And when I saw how this worked, I kicked myself for not thinking about this. Like, this is genius level thinking.
Like, you didn't.
I know. No, this is.
Even I knew how it worked because
I know you saw. You know how it works. Yes, I can.
You didn't even know your own trick.
It's not my
Yeah,
trick.
no,
No.
no,
Let's be
the
clear.
thing
I
that
don't want to
you've
get in
been
trouble. This
the
is not.
thing that you've been focusing on for quite a while.
Yeah.
don't even know the thing that you've been focusing on.
Basically, I don't want you to get me in trouble.
No.
I've put out something on the same principle that this is based on. Daniel's gone in a completely different direction to me, and he's altered the principle. But him and I have both explored the same principle, and this is how ethical the guy is. Before Blackpool, he actually contacted me and said, "Hey, I understand that you've put something out using this principle. This is what I'm putting out. Are you happy with me to go with it?" Like, that's how the guy, even though this is nothing like anything I was doing, that's how ethical the guy is. There's 5 routines on there. There's a really nice memory demonstration. Which Daniel's a great performer of mentalism. Like, you need to watch him perform because he does that trick so well. The whole memory thing is just great. You really believe that he can. Basically, it's the whole presentational concept is that he memorizes a deck of cards that's been completely mixed up. He memorizes a deck of cards. They name a card. They basically name a card or create a card at random, and he tells them where the card is in the deck and then where the other cards are of the same value. Like, it's really strong. There's a really nice sort of poker type thing. Most of the routines reset themselves instantly. There's a couple of routines that require a small reset, but this is very, very commercial. Like, this is a super commercial trick. The Bergfast routine, which Ryland performed, you don't even need a table. You can do it in the spectator's hands. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Very, very strong. What do you think of this?
I think it's very clever.
It's really clever, isn't it? Like, the ACAM is one of the best ACAMs I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really strong ACAM. No angle issues, are there? There's no angle. There's no slights. You don't even have to touch the deck. Like the magician doesn't even have to touch the deck. It is the pure definition of hands off.
All you need to know what to
Don't give anything away. No, don't give anything
just
away.
do a simple thing, just go.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything. Yeah, it's really, really clever. It's really strong. And it will fool magicians. I know that because I spoke to so many magicians at the Backwheel Magic Convention that were fooled over and over again by this trick. And what's nice about this is when you understand how this works, the 5 routines that are on the project, you can link them all together. So you can start off by doing the memory thing that I talked about. Then you could go into something else, then you could go into something else, and then you can finish off with maybe Birdfast and have it completely reset next to the ready for the next table. It's great.
This is able to reset.
Yeah, I love it. I love this trick so much. And it's not a trick. I'm doing a disservice by calling it a trick. It's a project. And I love the project. I really do. It is one of the best projects that I've ever seen for this principle. And as I say, I've explored this principle myself. And this is right up there with other people that have explored this principle. People like Woody Aragon and other people that have explored this principle. This is right up there with anything else out there. This is great. I'm going to give this 99%. I love this. I'm going to be doing
I'm going
it.
to give this
100% from you. Are you going to do this?
Yeah, this is tricky one for me.
Yeah, me too. You going to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% from Ryland, 99% from me. Absolutely trick of the week. Highly recommended. Very easy to learn. Really good tutorial. Broken down into segments. You'll be up and running with this with no time at all. Very, very good. And performances of every trick as well, which is important. Okay, so next up you have Paper Hercules by Bacon Magic. And this just is pointless. Like, this is another one that we can't perform. And the reason we can't perform this...
You're going to hammer us.
You gotta... Well, I'm going to tell you what the effect is, right? I'm going to tell you what the effect is, and then I'll explain why it's pointless. And the reason we can't do it in here is because you're going to need a hammer and a nail and access to a piece of wood. So where you would do this, I don't know. But let me explain what the trick is.
You can't just go into a restaurant and say,
no, so the packaging is completely pointless. But let me explain what the trick is. You have a bowl which can be examined, right? So you have this bowl.
That's
which...
going to be my snack bowl now.
Oh, you're going to keep it? Well, yeah, it's a normal bowl, really, isn't it? So you have this bowl which can be examined, and the idea is, let's say you're in a garden party, and they've got a big fence around their garden, and you just happen to have a hammer and a nail with you for some strange unknown reason. Or let's say the person who you're performing for, and you're in their garden, they have a hammer and a nail, and you go, okay, let me show you something. Let me just take my bowl out my pocket. Maybe you're doing this at your own, maybe you're throwing your own house, that's it, you're throwing your own house party. That's what you do, this is where you perform it. You're throwing your own house party, okay? So you've got a party in your back garden, you've got a nice back garden, you've got a fence.
Did you do your own magic?
You got a fence, yeah, you've decided that you're going to have a few friends round for a house party, it's in the summer, you're having a barbecue, they've come round, everyone knows you're a magician, so you decide to do a trick. And you could do any trick because obviously you're a magician, you know thousands of tricks, but you decide to do a trick that's very specific that will work for this one location and one location only. So you go, okay, everybody, you're here at this barbecue, I'm going to show you an amazing trick. I'm going to show you, Ryland, get the bowl. And Ryland would go into the house and come back with the bowl. And then you give the bowl to someone to hold on to, and you go, Ryland, go get a hammer and nail. So Ryland would then go away and get a hammer and a nail, and then you go, Ryland, get a piece of paper. So you would then go and get a piece of paper which has been cut into a really weird T shape, but whatever, let's go past that. And then what you do is you say, I'm going to show you something really crazy with this bowl. I'm going to try and make it float. Now, you could, obviously, because you're a magician, use loops, and you could make maybe a £5 note float, or a ring float, or something like that. Or you can use gravity, but no, you want to make a bowl float. That's the way we're going with this. So you're going to go, right, I'm going to make a bowl float. So you go, right, okay. Now, obviously, I could just do this and make the bowl. That's not good enough. We're going to make the bowl magically suspend itself in midair. So what you do is you get your piece of paper, okay? And you then take your piece of paper and you take your nail and you hammer the piece of paper into your fence. So you go over to your fence because you're in your back garden where your barbecue's taking place. And you go, guys, I'm going to make this float. Hold on to this. Just let me hammer this piece of paper into the fence. And people are probably thinking, why is he hammering a piece of paper into a fence? That makes no sense. Why is that hammering the piece of paper into the fence? But it doesn't matter. It's part of the trick. So you hammer the piece of paper into the fence, right? Okay, that's what you do. And now nobody can go anywhere near this piece of paper, obviously, at this point. But they can see that you've hammered the piece of paper into the fence. And then what you do is you take because it's a T, so you've hammered the top of the T. You've taken an A4 piece of paper and you've cut it into a T. You've hammered the middle part of the piece of paper into the fence. You then wrap the little parts of the T around to create like some sort of weird little shape. And then you go, watch, it's magic time. Thank you for coming to my barbecue. Watch this. And you take your bowl and you just very carefully and very, very slowly, you put it right there on where the piece of paper is, and it floats. And well, it doesn't float. It's apparently suspended against the piece of paper. And all of your guests are like, oh my gosh, I saw this kid on Britain's Got Talent, and he threw a Rubik's Cube up in the air and solved it, and then he teleported out of a big box and he appeared behind the judges. But that's nothing. He's just made a bowl float on a fence. He's hammered a piece of paper randomly for no reason into a fence, and now he's able to float a bowl by touching the bowl to the fence. It's now float. Oh my God. They're all doing this to you, right? They're going, oh my God, Ryland's amazing. This is the best trick ever. And people start to walk over to the bowl and you go, no! You can't go anywhere near the bowl. Don't touch the bowl. Don't go anywhere near the bowl, because obviously if they look at the bowl, they'll realise exactly how the trick works straight away. You go, look, I'm going to go one step further. You then take a phone and you put the phone on the bowl. Or you take a bit of water and you pour some water in, proving that it's really suspended in midair, because obviously that if it wasn't suspended, when you pour the water in there and put the phone on top, it would fall, obviously, and that's the trick. That's the trick. That's what you do. That's what you do. And so now, obviously, people can't go over to the fence, right? So then, what you have to do is take the bowl off, and you take the bowl off, and you go, have a look at the bowl, and then look at the bowl, which is good, because then you dodgily, for no reason, pull the piece of paper. You pull the nail out of the fence. How, I don't know. And as you pull the piece of paper, the nail out the fence, you take the piece of paper off and crumple it up and put it on the floor, and you give them the nail and the bowl, and then at that point they can examine everything. And that's basically what the trick is. Stupid. That kind of starts to explain just how ridiculous this trick is. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. First of all, in the grander scheme of things...
I might as well just walk away, because you're not going to let me talk.
I'm sorry. Well, you tell me what you think of it. I mean, from my From my point of view, I can't see that magnetically attaching a bowl to a fence is that great a trick anyway.
Nothing nails.
But even if it is, like, why nail? Like, if you think that magnetically making a bowl stick to a fence is a good trick, why don't you come up with a method of just going, bonk, look, there you are, it's stick. Why are you hammering a piece of paper into the fence for no reason? Well, we know the reason. It's so that you can have the gimmick set, so that the gimmick can be in position for this thing to apparently float. But what's the because they don't go into this, they don't go on the tutorial, they don't go, right, okay, now let me explain about how you're going to justify this piece of paper. There's no justify. Why are you even using a nail? Everybody knows that a nail is used to hold things up. So why are you using a nail if you're going to suspend a bowl on a piece of wood? Why are you using a nail? What's the point of hammering a nail in? And also, as far as I can see...
What's the point in having a paper?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Why are you putting the piece of paper on the fence for no reason? But also, if you were, somehow, maybe you can justify it, this paper is magic paper, Ryland. It has been kissed by a frog from Hogwarts, and it makes everything suspend in midair. Even if you could come up with some sort of lame-ass way of justifying the paper, why are you hammering in? In what reality ever in the entire history of the world has anybody ever thought, I need a piece of paper right there on that wooden wall. Let me go and hammer it into the wall. No, what do? You get a piece of sellotape. Let me just put the sellotape right there and let me sellotape this. If you've got stuff on your wall, you've got stuff on your wall in your bedroom, did you use a nail?
No.
Did you use sellotape or blue tack?
Blue tack.
Exactly. Why would you nail a piece of paper into a wall? What is the purpose of nailing a piece of paper onto the wall? Why are you putting the paper on the wall in the first place? Just take that. You want to make the bowl float? Put the bowl on the thing and make it float. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. And also, we haven't even begun to describe... When are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? Right, you were at the House of Secrets last week. You know, how are you gonna get that past Russ Brown? Right, Russ, I'm gonna do some magic. Which part of the wall can I hammer my nail into? I don't think it's going to work anywhere. It's not going to work anywhere. Maybe if you're doing a residency in the park and you can smash it into a park bench or something. But even then, you're carrying your bowl around with you. Excuse me. Right, I'm going to my gig today, Mom. Just going off to my gig. Need to grab my pack of cards. Need to grab my sponge balls. Need to grab my Rubik's Cube. Make sure I've got my twins, because I know that's your new favourite trick right now. Oh, Mom, get me my cereal bowl. Can't go to my gig without my cereal bowl. Oh, and while you're at it, go fetch me my hammer and nail. And if you get
That just came off the bowl.
Really? I'm not surprised. We are
That
hammering.
just came off the bowl.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good. Well, look, I've said my piece. You say that I'm not letting you talk. Tell people what you think of it.
I think it's terrible.
I think it's terrible as well. I love the fact that they went to great expense to provide you with the nicest bowl that they could find in order to do this absolute miracle that nobody's ever going to do ever. I wonder if Dynamo would do that. Dynamo's new show, right? Okay, we're going to hammer a bowl. You know what? I thought they gave us a nail, but they haven't. They didn't even surprise. Oh no, there it is. There it is. There's the nail. There you go. I love that they went to the trouble of giving you a nail. Shut the nail to hammer the piece of paper in. Look, this is terrible. This is beyond terrible. This is just completely pointless. I know they say on the tutorial that there's not even a live performance. Of course there's no live performance, because
Where would you do it?
I'll put it in there. There's no live performance. Of course there's not a live performance, because where are they going to do this? And is anybody going to be impressed? Please point me. He says that this has been, I can't remember. The tutorial says this is an old trick by Tibetan monks or something like that, and you can Google or YouTube it and see Tibetan monks perform. It might not be Tibetan monks, I'm not too sure, but some sort of monks performing this from hundreds of years ago. And yeah, I love the fact that he said on the tutorial, don't use their presentation, come up with something unique. How many ways can you present? Hammering a piece of paper onto a wall to float it's ridiculous. It gets minus. You know what? On any given show, that terrible trick from the other brothers would have been the worst trick ever. But I think Paper Hercules tops the lot. This is getting minus 1 billion% from me. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Minus 1 billion%. You know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Go find the bin. Oh, but you wanted to keep the bowl, didn't you? Yeah, take the bowl out and then chuck it in the bin. Guys, it's absolutely terrible. Don't buy it. Don't be suckered in by it. It's very expensive and it's just complete and total tat. Let's move on to something good. Okay, so next up we have Plotto by Michael Murray. This is the second trick by Mind Effects. The first was obviously Fast. The second one is by Michael Murray himself, and it's called Plotto. And it is a lottery prediction. Now, I've got a couple of different ways of actually doing lottery predictions. So I was very interested in looking at this. I love the plot of a lottery prediction, because so many people say to you at the gigs, you know, hey, I bet, you know, can you win the lottery for me, or can you tell me what these numbers are? So I love to be in a situation where I can go, yeah, absolutely. And that's what this is. Ryland's going to do a performance of this,
But
and then
I'm not going to.
yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's just do a performance first of all, and then we'll talk about what we think.
The other day, Mummy went and bought me a lottery ticket.
Didn't you buy one yourself?
No, Mummy bought it. I'm too young.
Okay, where is it? That's a lottery ticket.
Yes, that's a lottery ticket.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you see the numbers.
Okay, no problem.
Now, I'm too young to play the lottery, but we have the lottery cards here.
Lottery cards. What are lottery cards?
They've got the balls with all the different numbers on.
Oh, right, okay, I see. So it's 29, 58, 22. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so you got all the numbers. Yes,
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, yep.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to cut a third of that packet.
A third. Be about that many. Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Put it there. And a third of that.
Yeah.
And then put that there. I want you to turn those cards face over. I'm not going to do anything.
All of them?
Yeah.
Turn all the cards
No,
face.
them.
Oh, sorry,
The
these.
middle.
Right, okay, right.
And shuffle them into those cards there.
Shuffle them together.
Yes. So we've got this.
There you go.
And turn them over
Okay.
and shuffle them into that packet.
Just like that. Okay.
Okay. Now, so we have a total mess here, yeah? Face ups, face downs, everywhere.
Yeah. I shuffled it myself. Yeah.
Face ups and face downs.
Yeah. That's fine.
Now, you know in the lottery, they deal the cards 6.
Well, they have.
Six.
No, they don't. But they draw 6 numbers.
Yeah.
Yes. What are you doing?
So I'm going to give you 2 cards. There's a keep section and a get rid of section.
Well, these are the face down cards.
Yeah, so that's the keep section there.
So hang on. So
you can choose.
So this is keep. This is right. Okay,
That
but I
one.
can switch them around if I want to.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to keep this one. Check that one.
Which one do you want to keep? Which one do you want to get rid of?
That's the keep section.
Yeah.
I'll keep that one. Get rid of that one. Can I change?
Yes, you can change the whole pack.
Can I? Okay. Keep. Get rid of. That's my keeps. That's my keeps.
So much you got that 4.
That's the keep. No,
That's the keep.
that's the keep.
And then that's the final thing.
Okay.
Now, you sure you want that? Do you want to change the cards around anymore, or is that it?
No, that's it.
You sure that's it?
And you were just pulling the face down cards out of there?
Yeah.
In the order in which I shuffled them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you could have picked 62, you could have got 27.
Yeah.
I mean 22.
Yeah.
34 there.
Yeah, I get it.
35.
Yeah.
7.
7.
Okay. Now I'm going to take one out random, just to pick the cards up. I'm going to grab it there, okay?
Right.
Now, so I want you to check the lottery ticket.
Right.
Was 45 on the lottery ticket.
Okay, hang on. That's not on there.
Is 5
Hang
the
on.
lottery
Hang on.
ticket?
I'm looking. That's not on there. 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 It's close, but that one's not on there.
Oh yeah, there's a 20. There's a 21.
And that one's not on there.
Okay, so we have those cards there.
Yes.
They've been there the whole time.
Yeah, those are the ones I chose.
Yeah. So these are the ones you chose to keep.
Mhm.
I'm going to check here. Was 50 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, 50 is there.
Was 20 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, 20 is there.
Is 15 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, 15 is there.
Is 1 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, it's right there.
Is 12 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, it is.
And is 52 on the lottery tickets?
Yes, man, it is. That's incredible. Does that mean I get to? Does that mean I've won the lottery? Am I a millionaire?
You get to give the ticket though.
Oh, thank you. Can I?
Yeah.
When's it for? Seriously, is it for?
It's Wednesday.
For Wednesday. Oh wow, yeah. Hey, I could still be a millionaire. That's amazing.
That's it.
So there you go. That was a performance by Ryland, and him and I have been debating this back and forth for a few days now, mainly because he's not too keen on it. He doesn't like it, and I really like this. So first of all, before I say why I like it, you tell me, why do you not like it?
Well, I just keep on forgetting it.
You keep on forgetting it.
Yes.
What do you mean you keep on forgetting it?
Every time I do it, I'm like, what do I do again? What do I do again? It's been like 2 weeks now.
Well, one of the things that I like about you is you typically will do magic with stuff that a kid would do magic with.
Yeah.
Like look at your BGT stuff. Lego,
cubes.
Rubik's cubes. When you're doing close up, it's okay. You do coins and cards, but it's normally Lego, Rubik's cube,
but
stuff like
kids
that.
play with coins.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, kids play with coins and cards. You don't even really know what the lottery is because we don't play the lottery as a family. So although you know what the lottery is, you've never watched the lottery being played on TV or anything.
And you're gonna actually do it. You're gonna actually do it.
Yeah, I like this. Now, like I say, I've got a couple of different ways of doing lottery predictions. I've got an actual trick with a deck of cards that looks like a lottery deck. Very different to this with methodology, but I've been doing that for about 15 years. I've also got another lottery prediction that fits in a wallet, and I've been doing lottery predictions for a while. I can appreciate how clever this is. This is really clever. And if you actually think about it, first of all, it's an instant reset. It takes about 10 seconds to reset.
Yes.
It's completely examinable. You can examine it immediately at every point in the routine. It's almost self-working because it's completely hands-off.
Yes.
You put the prediction down from the beginning. There's no ambiguity. That is actually the prediction. There's not like a multiple out thing going on, which is what I thought would happen when I was watching the performance the first time. That is the actual prediction. They shuffle the cards themselves. They are genuinely shuffled. There is no sneakiness about that. You take out the cards in the order in which you've shuffled them. They have a free choice of whichever card they want to. They can change over at any point they want. You then show that all the cards they didn't want don't match, and then you show that the cards that they did want do match the lottery prediction. Everything's examinable, and it's an instant reset. When it comes to lottery predictions, the only negative is you have to carry a deck of cards around with you. So it's not as organic as just having like a lottery prediction where people just name numbers or anything like that. But to me, that's not an issue because these have been designed by Michael to look just like what lottery cards would look like. If you had a deck of cards that was an actual deck of cards to do with the lottery, that's what these would look like. They look like lottery cards. They really do. They've been well designed. It all makes sense. And it allows you, whenever a spectator says, hey, can you play the lottery? Or can you win the lottery? Or can you tell me the lottery numbers? It allows you to say, yes, I can. Here's a ticket. Let me show you this. It plays close up. You do need a table, but you don't need a close-up pad, but it plays close-up really well. It plays the parlour. It plays the stage. You could do this on stage. You could make this a really big feature part of your act, or you can do it intimately for one or two people. I love it. You're not too keen. You're not going to do this again.
I'm going to give this 59%.
And I want people to understand that's really because you're a kid.
Yes.
It's because he doesn't
You
really...
have to be 18 or over.
Yes, you have to be 16 or over to play the lottery. I personally think this is great. I'm going to give this 90%. Even though I do lottery tricks, even though I've got my own versions of lottery tricks, I'm going to do this. I think this is really good. And a very elegant solution to the predicting the lottery plot. If you've ever wanted to predict the lottery, this is the way to go. It's so easy. The tutorial is 11 minutes long. That will tell you how easy it is. It's very easy. I've done it at a couple of gigs. This will be on a review show revisited soon. And it's just great. So highly recommend it. Really, really good. 90% from me. What did you say, 69 or?
59.
59% from Ryland. 90% from me. I love it. Let's look at the final trick. Okay, so the final trick that we're going to be looking at today is Party Time by Adrian Vega. Now, Adrian Vega's brought out some really cool tricks over the last few years. And this is his latest thing, Party Time by Adrian Vega. And when I saw the write-up for this, I was super excited about what it is. Because it's one of my favourite plots. And the plot itself is actually the mystery card plot. Now, if you don't know the mystery card plot, the idea is very simple. Normally it's done with a box. We've reviewed lots of different versions of mystery card over the years. But the idea is, the Kennedy mystery box is the quintessential version where you have a wooden box, you show there's a folded up card in there, somebody picks a card, they sign it, it's lost in the deck, and when you tip out the folded card, it's actually their signed card, right?
You do one, which is your version?
I do a few different versions, but I do one with Chop. Yeah, I do one with I put a impromptu mystery card, folded up mystery card on Chop using a borrowed paper cup. So you borrow a paper cup, you put a folded up card in there, it's there from the very beginning, you put the paper cup to one side, and when you go back to it, it's the signed card.
Yeah, and also, you do one in your stage show?
Oh, I do, yeah. That's the Destination Box by John Allen. Yeah, Destination Box. I was very excited about seeing this because I'm always looking for new different ways of doing the mystery card plot. And this was advertised as a shot glass. So how it's advertised is
a shot glass.
Well, it is a shot glass, but the whole
What's a shot glass?
it's a glass like this. It's a small glass. and you pour liquor in it, like vodka or whiskey or stuff like that, and you drop it down in one go. So that's why it's called a shot glass. You don't need to know, you don't drink. But the idea is that you get this shot glass, and according to the ad copy, you take a folded up card and you fold it up and you put it underneath the shot glass. You then have someone pick a card, they sign the card, it's lost into the pack, and then you take this and you let them take it out themselves, and when they do, it's actually their signed card. Now, that's how it's advertised, and that is actually how it plays. And the tutorial, as you would expect with Adrian Vega, is very good. He goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb. However, I'm not performing this on the review show. And the reason I'm not performing it, and I do have to talk about this, I don't want to give away the method, but I do have to say that the big problem with this, from my point of view,
is you have to carry a black close-up pad around.
You have to carry a black close-up pad with you, because it relies on black art, and we don't have a black close-up pad. You've got like one with space, and you've got a green one, and we've got this one. We've got a whole bunch of close-up pads.
You've got a grey one.
Yeah.
Slightly unusual one.
Yeah, but we don't have a black close-up pad. And that's a problem. And I'm not going to go and buy a close-up pad just so I can do this trick. And I think it should have been, I think that when you're buying a trick, I think it's quite disappointing if you buy a trick and you realise that in order to do it, you need a black close-up pad. Now, the tutorial is about 40 minutes long, and the first 20 to 30 minutes are going through how to do the trick that I just described to you. In the last 10 minutes, they talk about how to actually gimmick this shot glass. And once it's gimmicked, they say you can use any surface, but that's not true. It still relies on the same method. The only difference is there's less chance for them to see the black art because of how the shot glass is gimmicked, but you still need a black... it doesn't really matter, but they talk about how to gimmick the shot glass to make it look a bit cleaner. But the bottom line is, to do the main trick, you have to have a black close-up pad, and you're going to be left a little bit dirty. So you're going to be left in a situation where there's something on the close-up pad, where if you had the audience in really close, would they be able to see it? See, this is the thing. I personally think that black art, and you know what I mean by black art, obviously.
Yes.
I personally think that black art should only really properly be used on stage.
Yeah.
I think that when you're doing extreme close-up, and you're doing black art, I think that there's a chance that people are going to see what's going on.
A trick that I did on BGT was black art.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. But you were on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. It's the same with this. I remember when I first saw Henry Evans' 3-card Monty, and it fooled the hell out of me. And then when I realised it was black art, I'm really disappointed. Black art is great, and it has amazing applications in the right time, right place. I think that close-up, I don't think that it works as well as it does do on stage. However, my main 2 problems with this is, one, I think that you should be made aware of this. When it's such a... it's like, you're going to need a table. You're going to need to carry a close-up pad around with you. It has to be a black close-up pad, and you're going to have to manage the audience's attention, because you're going to be left dirty, and hopefully they won't notice why it's dirty. But the main problem is you need a black close-up pad. And I don't want to give away the method, but I think you people need to be aware of that if you buy this, you're going to need a black close-up pad. Now, the other issue that I have with this, or not really an issue, is it wouldn't be a problem, or it would still be a problem, actually. It would still be a problem, but you can maybe justify it if the trick was just like mind-blowing. Like the most mind-blowing version of mystery card ever, or the most mind-blowing trick ever. But in reality, what we have here, there's a million ways of doing this. There's a million different versions of mystery card. And yes, you've got this really nice moment of it being put into a shot glass so that it looks very clean and there's not a box that it's being held into. But in reality, if you're performing to a spectator, what is the difference between putting a folded up card in a shot glass and doing Paper Clipped by Jay Sankey? What's the difference between putting a folded up card inside a shot glass and then tipping it out and showing it's the signed card, and putting a folded up card in a paper clip, and then taking it and taking the paper clip off and giving it to them and it's the signed card. Yeah, the moment is changing and the prop is changing, but with paper clips, I'm using paper clipped as an example because it's very clean, there's no box, it's just a paper clip. With paper clipped, there's no black art, you can do it without a table, you can do it anytime, anywhere, and you're not left dirty, you're not in a situation where you have to carry a shot glass around with you, you don't have to carry a close-up pad around with you. So I think it's not like the trick is absolutely incredible and worthy of the method and the restrictions that are in place because of the method that's been decided on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would never do this. Even if I had a black close-up pad, I would never do this. Even if I was doing parlour shows regularly, which I am, I wouldn't do this because I've got a million different ways. If I'm going to do a mystery card plot on stage or in a parlour situation, I'm going to do what you just talked about earlier. I'm going to do Destination Box by John Allen. If I'm doing a close-up version, I'm going to do the Tommy Wonder Ring box. Maybe I'll do Mystery Box by, the Lego Mystery Box by Plotto. It's nice packaging, but
it's like a case.
And I very much like the shot glass. I think I'm going to keep the shot glass. I think that the shot glass.
I'm keeping the bowl.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't make. It's impractical. Is the problem? It's an elegant solution that's impractical and solves a problem that doesn't exist. I think that I've seen better from Adrian Vega. I'm not going to perform this. I don't think many people that will buy this will perform it. I think they'll watch the trailer and they'll be like, "Oh, that's really nice. I love the idea of doing that." And then they're ultimately going to be a bit disappointed when they see what the method is. So I'm going to give this 25%. Unfortunately, it's not practical, nothing that I can do, and I can think of a million ways of doing this that are just as good, if not better. 25% from me. What about you?
I'm going to give this 12%.
12%. 12% from Ryland, 25% from me. Unfortunately, it's not that great. But Adrian Vega's brought some great stuff out in the past. This just doesn't live up to the hype. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review show this week. Thank you very much for joining us right here. If you haven't already done so, please do me a favour, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, subscribe to his channel. He's almost on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is an amazing achievement. Well done, buddy. And your stats are going up through the roof every single week. It's really good. And if you haven't already, follow him on Instagram. He's on almost 6,000 followers.
He needs help.
I need the help on Instagram. Please help me catch up with my son. I need help to catch him up.
I've got almost 6,000. He's only got.
I'm coming up on 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Anyway, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll get there. I'll beat you. Maybe I'll enter BGT next year, and I'll have thousands of followers.
If you do it correctly.
If I do it correctly. Do you think they'd buzz me?
I don't know.
Do you think they'd buzz me? No. No? You think they'd buzz me, wouldn't you? You think they'd buzz me? Yeah, I can tell.
No.
You think they'd buzz me?
No, I don't. You think you're going to get buzzed, but I don't.
Oh, that's nice. I'm going to be back next week with Ryland on another review show. I'm going to be back tomorrow again with another video. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Magic TV. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.